Pharmavet Research Incorporated project bid to Josh Nick Pharmaceuticals for clinical trial service in Canada, Japan, and China. We are excited for this opportunity to help your animal health company become an international provider of veterinary medicine. Just like you, we want to make sure we help as many animals as we can. To accomplish this, we began operations in the United States with the goal of providing specific expertise in the conduct of clinical trials to smaller pharmaceutical companies that may not have the experience needed to do clinical studies. Showing that your drug is effective and safe to government agencies ensures that you'll be able to market your products within their jurisdictions. In the beginning, we had no intentions of moving into other countries, but after conducting a clinical trial in Canada, we found that we had a knack for intercultural effectiveness that made our Canadian studies highly sought after by U.S. firms. We realized this was an opportunity to further differentiate ourselves from the competition by expanding our knowledge of other cultures that made it possible for us to provide services around the globe. Your decision to market your product in Canada, Japan, or China finds us to be the best partner to not only gain approval there, but also to help you decide which of these countries may provide the best opportunities. Our first international study was done in Canada. We assumed this would be a piece of cake as long as we knew the Canadian drug regulations. We soon found out that even though Canadians are similar to Americans, there were many things to consider when conducting trials there. Our first mistake was being unaware of the differences between us. But once we acknowledged this, we realized our due diligence required more than just knowing the laws. We began to study Canadian culture in depth and found it to be much easier to work with people there. We adjusted our communication strategy to be a little more formal and reserved, and made sure that we provided every piece of information we could to those we had scheduled meetings with. Our meetings went a lot smoother, and we accomplished more. This built stronger relationships and soon gave us connections in French-speaking Canada. Not wanting to make the same mistake, we learned everything we could about this distinct Canadian subculture, one that is so strong it affects the rest of Canada. For example, they have successfully lobbied for the Canadian government to be bilingual in both French and English. We also found that most Canadian population valued societal improvement, so we adjusted our market strategy for getting patients to enroll in clinical trials by emphasizing how allowing your pets to participate would help benefit animals around the world by advancing veterinary medicine. This helped us get our studies completed much faster, more readily, and with greater results. We decided to begin working in Asia by way of Japan because the Japanese government follows the agreed-upon scientific standards adopted by the EU, US, and Canada. This meant that we could devote more time to Japanese culture once we learned what their drug approval requirements were. Another reason we decided to try there was due in part to Japan's close emotional and economic ties to the US. But because of past relations between our countries, we knew that we should be careful and appear humble and gracious to our hosts. We learned that first impressions would dictate the future of our relationships, so we were sure to establish personal friendships through outside entertainment before getting down to business. We were happy to be able to secure partnerships inside Japan with companies we know have the same values as us overall. Our friendships have proven to us that we don't need to have the same level of oversight as we do with other countries, and Japanese operations are managed from the US. However, we do visit regularly to maintain our friendships there and to show that we are interested in working with them for the long haul. This strategy paid off in droves when our Japanese colleagues used their connections to secure us meetings with companies in China. As you're well aware, the ability to sell pharmaceuticals in China provides access to Asia's largest market. Our Japanese relationships helped us get inside China, and we were determined not to embarrass our Japanese partners. We made sure to send our most technically proficient managers to discuss our business there, and we had them take formal Chinese language and culture classes first. We were able to secure our own translators to help us make sure that we understood everything that was taking place in our meetings, and we knew the issues surrounding China's restrictive government and worked hard to establish our own Guanxi relationships there so we would be able to get started as seamlessly as possible. We focused our first meetings to the groups we met without singling individuals out in order to preserve face, And as we became closer with individuals, we took a page out of our Japanese playbook and first attempted to build more social relationships that we intended to be long-term. All of this wasn't done easily, and we had to make quite a few trips to China to get where we wanted to be. We flew our best prospects to our corporations with much fanfare and celebration, and our efforts paid off when we were able to successfully negotiate business terms to our mutual benefit. As you can see, we were able to sustain faster growth with each new country as we gain more and more experience. We are now operating at the previously established limits we've imposed on ourselves. We get better with every move into a new market, and that has begun to show exponential value for operations across all of the countries in which we do business. Now that we are more adept at moving into new countries, we require less resources on getting there, and we are able to operate at higher capacities in these countries. We are working for you. We are experts in international veterinary clinical trials and multicultural effectiveness. We have broken your barriers to entry into Canada, Japan, and China. We have established relationships in these countries, and we have proven success there. We take the worry out of getting approval so you can focus on what's important, your product. We thank you for watching our video and hope that we can partner with you soon.